Hello, magic muses, witches, heathens. Welcome back to As Above, So Below. We are going to be continuing our witchcraft series today, and today's topic is all about healing the witch wound. And I know that every single one of us can relate to this. So I'm going to take you on my journey and how it has developed today. And this topic, it goes all the way from childhood, as it should, and into where I am now. And I know that a lot of you can also relate to this. And it's about stepping into your power, stepping into your autonomy, and not fearing the word witch, which can be controversial. But I know for me, I am here to reclaim that word because witch means wise. It is a word that really has so much healing, so much knowledge, and witches were known to be midwives, to be healers, to, have apothecaries, and to really give wisdom to the people. And over time, that word has become taboo, or people fear it, or they see, witches as being this Hollywood representation with the old nose and the markings and the green skin, somebody who is evil, but it is the exact opposite. So I'm going to kind of go with my intuitive nature on this, but I also wanted to give you guys a beautiful book to read, and it is Healing the Witch Wound by Celeste Larson. I actually gave it to one of my witch sisters, so she has it right now, but I read it front and back, and it really goes into detail about the history behind it, and also, where you may be holding it in your body, ancestral trauma, all of that. So 10 out of 10 recommend. So, all right, healing the witch wound. So for me personally, I was born into a family, actually a split family. So my father was, and still is to this day, an abusive alcoholic, and my stepfather has narcissistic tendencies. And as I grew up, I really was taught to hide and to keep myself small, to keep myself safe. And it's interesting, as I go on this path, I start to recognize the witch wound in all of us. And it wasn't until I really started to go down my independent journey and I started to read books on witchcraft, that was when things just started to click. And it was almost as though my guides, my soul was waiting for me to be out from under a suppressive family dynamic. And I'm a child of 2 divorces, and it manifested in the throat for me, and also in my solar plexus and sacral. I also grew up Mormon. So there's so many things that kind of kept me in a more suppressed state. And it was when I turned, I believe, 23, I went to go get my gynecology appointment, and she was feeling around my neck, as they do, and she's like, "You have a lump here." And so at the time I had no clue what anything was, so, I go to the doctor, have a biopsy, and I never knew anything after that. So as time went on, I started to develop hyperthyroidism, which is where your thyroid produces too much TSH. And I had a nodule that was taking over this side of my thyroid. And I ultimately had to have surgery to have it removed. And it was on my right side. And so many lessons in my life have been surrounded by your voice, by you suppressing your voice. And when that was taken out, I started to feel better. I'm starting to, uncover other things that come with that. But I no longer feel depleted, or I no longer feel like I have to crawl into a hole and not be seen or not be heard. My stepfather was also a cop, so there were so many things that I had to just make myself smaller. And when I started to really take on this path of stepping back into being a witch, I started to gain power, and I started to gain um, my own autonomy back. And I was like, I am no longer under the suppression of my family or of other people's judgments, which those do come, but you start to develop a sense of freedom in yourself, and you know how to answer questions, or you know how to deal with judgments from other people. They start to just roll off your back. And I've learned to kind of, just give my 2 cents. And if they don't like it, then that is their problem. But you should never feel like you have to shrink yourself for other people to swallow. That sounded weird, but you know what I mean. You should never have to make yourself feel small to make yourself more palatable for other people. And now I'm noticing all of these themes in my life around using my voice. I now have this tarot YouTube channel. I'm on, I'm being seen. I'm on social media. I am making candles. I'm like out in the public eye. And that will just continue to grow and grow. But it never used to be like that. I never saw myself doing this until I committed to my path, and Spirit's like, there's no way you can't do this. This is what you came down here to do. And because I cleared away so much stuff, I'm now able to, 1, stand up for myself, 2, no longer shrink myself, and 3, to be able to comfortably shine my light, because I am now attracting other people who either are still in the broom closet but are still witches, who want more knowledge, want more information. And you become a person who, I love spreading knowledge of the craft. I love debunking the craft, because a lot of people think it is something that it's not. And I love talking to witches who are really just starting their path. I love talking to people in liminal space. I love to guide people, and I love empowering people. And that's always something that has always stayed with me, because I didn't feel empowered when I was younger. I didn't feel like I had a voice, or I didn't feel like I could be my authentic self, because I was raised in these conditions. And if that is something that you also resonate with, then you're not alone. Also, somebody who has dealt with anxiety, depression. I was on, medication for depression. It's my grandmother was bipolar depressive. There's so many things, specifically on my maternal side, that I'm looking at and being like, damn, this runs in the family. This is a genetic thing, and it stops with me. It is stopping with, I am in a wonderful, beautiful relationship. I do not want to, separate from my husband. Of course, life can happen, but I see my maternal side struggling, and I'm like, I want to be a pillar of strength and understanding when I do have a child, so that they know what a solid foundation looks like, what a solid family looks like, because I don't know what that looks like. And a lot of us are having children later in life, myself included. I am going to be 34 in March, and I always told myself, I was like, I want to have a more clear understanding, and I want to heal more before I bring a child into this world. So if that's something that you are also resonating with, I feel you. I'm right there with you. But know that whatever part of your story of healing the witch wound, it also comes out later, and things start to, they don't get easier, but you start to develop more resilience, and you start to understand why things happen. For me, public speaking is getting easier because I'm actually putting myself in front of a camera and talking to you. But it's because so many of you comment back saying, thank you for, you know, taking that first step on your path, or thank you for, you know, reading, you are reading me to a T, or you are right on the nose. You know, it's also, this makes you feel seen. Tarot makes you feel seen and heard and understood, and that's something, again, that I never had. So it's interesting when you start to do the things that your inner child didn't have. That's also healing the witch wound. That is you being there for your inner child. So the whole healing of, you know, the sacral chakra, because with being raised Mormon, there's a lot of shame around sexuality, around, you know, masturbation, around all of these other things. And it wasn't until, again, I really met my husband. He was really the first safe man that I had ever really encountered. And I knew when I saw him, something in my soul was like, this is the man that you are going to marry, and you are going to feel safe, and you are going to build a life together. And I know that sounds so cliche, but it happens. And something in my soul recognized safety in him, in a masculine figure that I had never had. And I know so many people who can resonate with that story. And we're all walking this dance together. I wanted to give you guys kind of a background of everything that I have, you know, gone through. And that's just a very small snippet. That's a very, very small snippet. And unfortunately, narcissists come with this territory. And I've had encounters with narcissists who were lovers, narcissists who were friends, you know, narcissists who, father figures, you know, and once you battle the narcissist, you can handle almost anything, you know. But I just want you to know that you're not alone, and hopefully by me sharing my story, it makes you feel comfortable to, you know, share yours where with whoever, whatever, whenever you feel comfortable to do that, because this journey is not easy. And walking the path of a witch also means embodying the darkness. It means embodying your truth, and to constantly be misunderstood. That just is the path, unfortunately. But when you find a sacred community of people who are understanding, and this community is the least judgmental people that I have ever met. And it's because they know, they understand both light and dark. You know, there is no dogma, there's no, you know, hierarchy, at least in my path and what I believe. And when somebody's going through the battle of the darkness, through the shadow journey, it's something that you meet with grace, and it's something where you have to move through it. You can't just shove it to the side. And I'm noticing now, moving on my journey, that things will kind of crop up from the past that are like, oh, okay, those still kind of sting a little bit, but now I have developed the healing tools to be able, like, okay, I can heal this. I know how to heal this because I have looked at it. I have done the shadow work and I'm not afraid of this. So yeah, but really read that book. It is very helpful. Healing the Witch Wound by Celeste Larson. And stick by your people if you have witches in your family. Stick by people of minority, because that's all a thread that we can understand. We have also been persecuted. We are still persecuted to this day, but strength is in numbers, and we have fire in our hearts. We are made of fire. We have dealt with the fire and come back again. And when you start to step out into your authority and you walk your talk, other people are going to be gravitated towards that. And they are going to feel safe in your presence because they know that you have also walked that. So I hope this helped. Again, not an easy journey, but so worth it. So worth it. So, and also I do hypnotherapy, I do Reiki, I do tarot readings. I'm a massage therapist. So if you are interested in working on this, working on inner child wounds, anything like that, please book in the comments. I can do it via virtual. Obviously I can't do massage online, but I can do hypnosis. We can do a reading. I really like to work with the subconscious and also the waking world. Again, as above, so below. Everything works in tandem. So you got to look at the depths to really bring it out and to bring change into your life. So if you are interested in working with me, again, link is in the description box below. But I hope this helped. And remember, you are the magic. Blessed be. Bye.